The scenes unfolding in Gaza reveal a humanitarian crisis of staggering proportions. You thought it was bad before. Israel said, "Hold my war crime. I've got more in the back. Let me get them out for you." According to the United Nations, nearly 900 Palestinians have been killed in just the last few weeks. How? Trying to take out Merkava tanks with homemade explosives, or trying to send IDF soldiers to their Maker double quick time? Nope, simply trying to get food for their families. Most of these deaths are linked to the controversial GHF, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, and their aid sites, which is, the GHF is the Israeli-backed charity operating in Gaza. Charity. It's like if 1930s Germany and Mustache Man had a welfare program for Jewish people. At these GHF kill zones, I mean hate sites, sorry, Israeli forces have repeatedly opened fire on desperate civilians seeking bags of flour or food, for their starving families. There's footage of people lying down behind a hilly sandbar, and there's machine gun fire hitting them and, making the sand sort of jump. It's dystopian. There's like a sea of people, and, there's just bullets just singing in the air or wailing. Simple as that, it's dystopian. The scenes are hellish. Witnesses describe Israeli soldiers, tanks, and drones firing directly at crowds of starving families. Survivors call these sites death traps, but they're forced to risk their lives because they have no other choice. Forced how, Mahfouz? What are you talking about? How would someone be forced into that kind of predicament? Well, the World Food Programme has delivered devastating news in just the last couple of days. Nearly 1 in 3 people in Gaza are now going entire days without eating. Entire days without eating. You thought Ramadan in England was bad. You thought Ramadan in Norway was missions. You thought it was a mission not starving, sorry, fasting for 18 hours, or starving, I suppose, as well. 18 hours a day without food, Ramadan. And as your non Muslim mates keep asking with shock, seemingly every single year, even water. Yes, Dave, even without water, for God's sake, it's not really fasting otherwise. Palestinians in Gaza are going multiple days, not 18 hours, not 24 hours, that's a day, by the way. For those who are not good at maths, 48 hours, that's 2 days, right? Not 48 hours, several days. 1 in 3 people, right? A third of all Gazan Palestinians. Let that sink in 2025, in full view of the world. 1/3 of Gaza's population is experiencing what experts call catastrophic hunger. And I'm out here with, three, double chin or triple chin and flab as far as the eye can see. Is dystopian. Families survive on single meals per day if they're lucky. Lucky to have at least one meal a day. Imagine, oh mate, had a meal today. Bro, I might buy the lottery ticket tomorrow. With the role I'm on, I'll win that. Parents skip meals so their children can eat thin broth as opposed to thin air. Children are dying of malnutrition while food, this is the important part, it's not a famine and a drought that, unfortunately came together in a very poor country in, South Asia or Africa or something. No, food sits just across the border, not allowed in because some group was promised this land apparently 3,000 years ago. Believe us, trust me, bro, source. And they got attacked on occasion by the people they stole the land from. So now they can defend themselves by starving women and children. Excellent logic, Western logic. It's a man-made famine, what's going on, unfolding in real time. That's the news. Now here's the brief analysis, because there's only so much I can do without us, feeling sick. There's only so much I can stomach, I think is the correct phrase. The power on the global stage is shifting, ladies and gentlemen. The West no longer holds a monopoly on dispensing what they view as justice. I made a video just yesterday about 12 countries that have committed to sanctioning Israel, essentially, with potentially 20 more joining those Israel sanctions in the coming months. Why are they sanctioning Israel? Well, because of their crimes in Gaza. The trajectory is promising on the world stage. More and more countries are standing up. More and more countries are talking. The countries that were talking before are taking action. The countries that took action before are taking harsher action. The trajectory is promising. Unless you support starvation of women and babies, in which case, sorry to burst your bubble, mate, the mid to long term things just aren't going your way. They're not promising at all if you're a criminal or a lunatic. Now, the issue is the trajectory, the geopolitical shifts that I talk about, the broad, zoomed out analysis I give, while I think, of course, is very important. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing this every day, yapping continuously, somewhat pointlessly, many may argue. I think is extremely important, but despite that, it's not coming fast enough, the shift. And the Arab and Turkish states in the Middle East, whose citizens, literally, without any exception, with every country, whose overall citizen sentiment is strongly anti Israel due to the crimes in Gaza, these nations at a state level have decided, yeah, now's not the time to act. We're going to just sit this one out. This is, we're being wise, we're being strategic, right? They've decided the Palestinians and the horror they are going through, not good enough to take concrete action. Maybe we'll talk some more, right? Maybe we'll condemn twice a week now, as opposed to once a week. So we watch as citizens of the world. We wait because there's not much else we can do. Maybe we can take action if you choose to go activist mode, but for the analysis mode, if you want to understand, if you want to educate yourself, maybe your family members, maybe your children, if you want to, or maybe your younger siblings, if you want to educate on mid to long term analysis, and then in the mid to long term actually push yourself into strategic positions in society, whatever country you're in, to be able to take concrete action, not just go out into the streets, but actually be a minister in parliament that actually pushes for legislation. Well, for the not the activist but the analysis mode, I'll be here waiting, because long term, that's what you need. Society needs analysts, society needs to understand what's going on, and then you can make your mark, hopefully. But not in the short term. In the short term, activism obviously is the way to go if you actually want to do something. Um, that's my facet, right? Analysis, not activist. That's what I've chosen. So I'll be here reporting to you the news and the analysis, unbiased and without the Western spin. I'm Mahfouz. It's been a pleasure. Continues to be a pleasure. I'll see you on the next one. And yes, I did get my haircut.